Listen, I thought the Devils were in for their best year yet with the Nico Hischier, Jack Hughes core. And Jesper Bratt, we can't leave that guy out of there. He's been money.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I didn't see them going on a 9-game
contract
ripper
year,
here.
baby.
Yeah. And Jesper Bratt, the talks are starting to, happen and surface about like 10 million for this guy. I mean, and it seems like a lot because the Devils are, known as more of a smaller team. But Jesper Bratt, based on his statistical numbers, he's right there with some of the best point producers in the league right now. So, the Devils, they have surprised me, but they just got to keep their foot on the gas and bank some points. And if they can keep doing that, they're going to be right in the thick of it down the stretch for sure. At 12-3 right now. What about you, John? What's really popping for the Devils for you?
Yeah, I was also going to say, to answer your question, but also just to add to the point of saying the Devils are probably laughing right now because they were willing to give up some assets to get JT Miller and then pay JT Miller that money that they were paying for Bratt. And I think that's wild now because you see Bratt's showing so well. Bratt in general is showing things he didn't even see, we didn't even see last year. And then JT Miller's kind of stinking it up. Obviously, we're going to talk about the Canucks in this episode. But yeah, it's just one of those things with the Devils. I feel like a lot of guys are stepping up in big ways. And I think we talked about their underrated defense core and so underrated. Siegenthaler and Hamilton as a pair, so stud worthy. And
Ryan Graves.
Oh, Ryan Graves, Marino, I said underrated. Now if you're watching, you realize that it's not even an underrated thing anymore. It's just they're good. They have a great defense core. And I think when you talk about a guy like Severson, who's notable enough, contract year, he's on the bottom pair, I believe at most times. So it's the Devils are buzzing. I do think that they're probably going to cool off at some point, but I think with how they've shown, if the goaltending can stand, obviously it's been different times. Vanacek's shown well at times, and then Blackwood had a couple of good games there. So it's just the goaltending, man, to me. I think the roster overall will stick around in that playoff conversation, but if the goaltending can stand, they'll be in the playoffs.
And this is all without Palat too, who's he's a notable piece that they've added in the offseason. And goaltending is a big highlight there because Jonathan Bernier is obviously coming back. And I think a lot of hockey fans sort of forgot that the Devils had Jonathan Bernier with the two goaltenders they were bringing into the season. So if he can step up while his Blackwood's out right now. So if he can come in, get some starts, just try to return to at least backup capable, I think they're looking a lot stronger than teams had, or a lot of people thought, excuse me.
Yeah, I didn't know because I saw the report that he was practicing last month, but so his return's actually soon, I guess.
Yeah. So he's in practice now, and I think they're trying to give him a little more time. Obviously they're on this heater, so they can do that. But he's practicing with the team, and I mean, maybe by the time you guys listen, or maybe by the next pod, he's already played a game. We'll see.
And I think that's a big storyline too, because I think if they're smart with this, they'll probably look at a scenario where if they did want to make an improvement up front, get a stud, maybe halfway through the year going into the deadline, they could utilize one of those goalies to get a big time asset. Because there's so many teams that when a goalie goes down, obviously the Leafs, they went through that panic there where Murray's coming back, so it's kind of fine now, but there's going to be teams that go through that panic period where a goalie goes down and they need a goalie, and the Devils are going to be laughing because they have 3. So look out for the Devils in terms of a goalie trade. But yeah, I mean, man, I think overall, the biggest conversation going into the season was, I think all of us didn't have, even people we brought onto the podcast, we didn't have the Devils in the playoff picture, but we said, you know what, if goaltending's there, if goaltending can be above average, they're a wild card team at least.